because you've got a system where the average driver is doing less than 10 hours a week, it can become a safety net for a city. Like, oh, manufacturing plant, for whatever, falls on hard times, a few thousand people get laid off. Uber's there.
Right.
Uber's there to make ends meet for those folks who are maybe finding a transition in their life. Uber's there for folks who need to add a little extra income to their job where they're not seeing the income mobility that they're looking for. And so these are really positive things for folks who are, again, just trying to make ends meet.
Governor Perry was very excited that you guys were coming in today.
One of the most fascinating things for me to watch is the city of Austin, which is, I think, unquestionably one of the most innovative cities in the country. I think about the 8th largest market for Uber, and they're in this pitch battle with Uber. The political class is against Uber in Austin, Texas. And I'm sitting there watching this, and I spent 25 years living in Austin, and this is someone on the right side of the political spectrum saying that Uber and that disruptive technology that you all are bringing to this whole concept and all the different things that you bring to the table here, and why that's not being embraced in Austin, Texas, rather than this huge fight that the political class is putting on to try to stop Uber from being able to do what you do very, very well in Austin, Texas. And I'm just curious about your observation of that.
Well, look, I like to say that, the taxi rules that exist today, right? These old rules today, there was, once upon a time, those were the new and controversial rules way back. And I like to say every new and controversial rule has a right to become an old rule. But then it also has the privilege of being replaced by new rules that bend towards people and towards progress. And so we've gotten into a situation where some of these old rules have become protectionist and have essentially outlawed competition. And ultimately those things need to change.
Right.
Yeah.
Policy question for you. One of the things you're doing is talking about employment and the ability to create employment through Uber. At the same time, you're also working on creating autonomous vehicles and doing all sorts of work with the Carnegie Mellon folks, or the folks outside of Carnegie Mellon now. And so how do you square that? How far are we off from that? And what are you going to do then when all of a sudden you're going to have to talk to a lot of workers who are going to be this whole debate's going to get flipped around?
Yeah, well, look, I think you look at the effort in autonomous cars, driverless cars has been going on for almost 10 years. And it was really started in earnest on the commercial side by Google. Why?
Right.
Well, because 1 million people a year die from cars. Because probably tens of millions of people are getting injured. Because, when you're behind the wheel, like, the quality of life is just, it's a very stressful thing. I'm from Los Angeles. I've literally spent contiguously years of my life behind a wheel on the 405. And so there's just so many great things that are going to happen, but that's what progress in technology is about. And so this kind of technology is happening. And so the question for Uber is, do we resist the future, or do we find a way to become a part of it?
Right.
But if we're going to find a way to become a part of it, if we embrace it, then how do you optimistically lead through it? How do you partner with cities as that transition happens? And the fortunate thing is that it's going to take a while.
Right.
And the fortunate thing is that transition is going to take a long time. And to be honest, there's going to be, that transition literally could take decades. Okay. And so
when Google says we're all going to be driving autonomous vehicles in 5 to 10 years, you think that's too optimistic?
Well, you can't really drive an autonomous vehicle.
Sit in the back of one.
Look, I definitely think in that time frame, you will certainly have a lot of autonomous vehicles out there, but by that time, it will not have replaced everything.
And technology's been changing. You think back through the history in the agricultural side out in California, particularly when they came up with a new type of tomato that could be mechanically picked. And all of these people who were picking tomatoes lost their jobs.
But I think what's
technology is what continues to change, and we'll manage this. Our challenge is, what is the next big thing that will use the educated workforce that we better be working on in this country today?
Well, that's it. We're planting the seeds 5, 10 years out, but working also to mitigate the inevitable unintended consequences.
Well, but look, remember when we, well, not we, but 50 years ago, 80 years ago when there were operators that had to physically switch
Right, the
phone
telephones,
lines,
right.
And the world moved on, and that was okay.
So many
and then
instances
look at today. Uber's 5.5 years old. This year, we're bringing over 1 million drivers on the platform in the U.S. alone, maybe close to 2. And so who would have predicted that 5 years ago? And so there are going to be other Ubers, other companies that come from nowhere.
Other uses for labor.
That create huge opportunities for people who want to work in new ways.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the I right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.